Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a dove. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the top part of the body. An easy way to draw a circle is to first make a couple of small marks to indicate the circle's height, and then on the sides make a couple more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing one, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the top left side, draw a smaller circle as a guide for the head. Make this circle about 1/4 the size of the first circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video as you follow along to draw at your own pace. Inside the head, draw a horizontal line for a construction guide. On the bottom left side of the head, draw a small triangular shape as a guide for the beak. Connect the circles using sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. Make the bottom of the neck wider than the top. On the bottom right side, make a small mark to indicate the lower edge of the body. Connect the small mark to the big circle using curved lines to finish the guide for the lower section of the body. Starting on top of the big circle, draw a long diagonal line as a guide for the first wing. This line should be about as long as the entire body. To the left, draw an angled line as a guide for the other wing. Bend the bottom of the line so that the top is going up. Draw a long curved line on the right side to finish the wing that's on the other side of the body. Draw a longer curved line below the diagonal line to create the bottom edge of the wing that's on this side of the body. Pay attention to how big the wings are in relation to the body. On the bottom of the body, draw a big curved shape as a guide for the tail. Draw 2 sloping lines for the sides of the tail. Close off the shape at the bottom using a long curved line. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye on top of the horizontal construction guide and close to the center of the circle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. As you darken the shape, make the sides pointier for the corners of the eye. Draw a couple of curved lines around the eye for the bare skin. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw a small circle and shade it in for the pupil. Use the triangular shape on the left side as a guide to draw the beak. Darken the top of the guide for the top edge of the beak. Draw a long sloping line inside the shape for the mouth. Darken the bottom of the guide for the lower edge of the beak. Draw a curved line around the right tip of the mouth. At the top, draw a curved shape for the waxy segment on the beak. Part of this segment will be inside the head. Darken the outer edges of the initial guides to create the shape of the head. The top part of the head should be made up of a long continuous line. Curve the line at the bottom to create the throat. Add a line inside the shape for a crease. Use the big curved shape on the top right side of the body as a guide to draw the first wing. Draw a small angled line at the top for a feather. Make the top line longer. Draw a curved line at the top to create a thin feather. Draw more long, thin shapes along the bottom edge of the guide for more feathers. Make the bottom of each feather wide and the top thin and pointy. Tilt the orientation of the feathers sideways the farther down you draw. Make the feathers smaller as you go down the path of the guide. Add the feathers at the bottom using short curved lines. Make the tips of the feathers at the bottom more round and less pointy. Draw the feathers at the bottom within the shape of the guide. Pay attention to how the shapes of the feathers rotate along the path of the guide. Connect the row of feathers in the middle using short curved lines. Use the big shape on the left as a guide to draw the other wing the same way. Draw long, thin shapes along the right edge of the guide for the individual feathers. Make the feathers shorter and rounder the farther down they go. Don't overlap the first wing as you draw these lines. Draw more lines to make each feather longer. Tilt the orientations of the lines to the right the farther down you go. At the bottom of the body, lightly sketch a small curved line for the foot. Darken the line to create a curved toe. Make the shape of the toe wider. Add another thin shape to the left for another toe. At the bottom, draw a shorter, thinner shape for the small toe. Make the tips of the toes pointy for the nails. Draw a couple more thin curved shapes to the left for the toes on the other foot. Most of this foot will be hidden behind the body, so only draw the visible toes. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Darken the shape at the bottom for the tail. Use curved lines as you darken the bottom edge for the individual feathers. Add more lines within the shape to separate the individual feathers. Don't make these lines too long. Now go over the final lines with permanent ink. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long, but make sure that you go over your final line slowly and carefully to avoid any accidents. Don't ink the initial guidelines, only the final drawing. When the ink dries, erase all of the guidelines. Add a few short angled lines under the first wing for texture. Now color your drawing. I'm using markers to color, but you can use colored pencils too. The dove is white, so just use different shades of gray and a bit of blue to create shadows throughout the body. Pick a light source as you add the shadows so that they're consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so most of the shadows will be on the undersides of the shapes. Color using light shades of gray first and gradually build up to darker shades. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the feathers. Slowly and gradually blend the shades of gray together. Color the eye red and brown. Use pink and brown to color the beak and feet. Add more ink to the final lines to emphasize the shapes. Keep coloring until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the dove. Remember to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com for more tutorials. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know in the comments what other animals you want to see me draw. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.